Hello, me again, back with another cast. And this time we're on the map of um, which I don't even know where that is. I'm here on the left in blue, and I'm playing as the Indianhead, the American Second Infantry Indianhead. And on the right, I'm playing against I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to call him Epoeoeoeoeneoejtepriet, because that's about as close as it's going to get. So I'm playing against Epoeoeoeoeneoejtepriet, who is also playing on the Allied team. He's playing as, is that the 29th mech? 29th Tankovy Corpus, which is a pretty nasty division actually. It's got access to those IS-2 1943s. I can't remember if it has 1944s as well. But anyway, it does have access to IS-2 1943s and something else potentially. T-34 85s as well. I don't know how much light armor it gets, but it's a really, really strong battle group, the 29th Tankovy. But I'm just sort of playing as the Indianhead here, kind of experimenting with a new battle group. I'm playing on Vanguard, mainly because I don't really have like heavy tanks or anything which I can use in like phase C. So I'm just trying to hit him as hard as I can in phase A, and he is playing on balanced. So if it gets to phase C and he's going to get access to the money to bring in the IS-2s, I don't really have that much to deal with IS-2s. So it's going to be pretty nasty for me. So I'm on this north side. I've deployed the majority of my, well, the bulk of my force is on this north side. I really like some of the infantry that the Indianhead deck has access to. You get these rangers with the LMGs. So they're only 6-man strong, but they do get 2 of these Brownings. So they're very similar to like defense groups. And they've got 2 veterancy as well, 2-star veterancy, and they're raiders. So less suppression behind enemy lines and a bit of a stealth bonus. I don't know how you can be stealthy with 2 Browning light machine guns, but who cares? They're a solid unit. On top of that, excuse me, you've got rangers with flamethrowers. You've got engineers that have the HE grenades and bazookas as well. They don't have as many infantry that have bazookas as part of the squad as the spearhead, but it's not too much of a problem. You get plenty of bazookas to back them up, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. You'd think my infantry should be able to get the advantage of his, for sure. So straight off the bat, I've got an M8 firing on against this Strelky DP, which is pinned down just behind this tree line here. And whilst they're pinned down, they're not going to be able to use their PTRD, so really his only option is to use this LA5FN, because this M8 is just out of sight of this 45mm AT gun. But it has used up all of its 50 cal, so as I said in the last game, it's really annoying now that 50 cals, they just seem to use half, if not all of their ammo, just shooting at planes, and you know, I probably could have dealt with this unit a lot easier if I had access to my 50 cal there as well. So a little bit annoying there. I do hope that they sort that out eventually and make it an option to disengage air targets. But in a little bit of a rough spot at this point in time. It's 13 to 11, and as I'm on Vanguard, I really do need to be taking the advantage early on. Really, I've only got, phase A is the only phase in this whole game in which I have the income advantage. So it's I've got to start pushing forward and making the most of that sooner rather than later. I've got a little bit of a push going through this middle area, coming down this road. I think he had this. It still does have this 120mm mortar firing on the units over here, but at 120mm mortar, it does take out the half track there. It's a bit of a lucky shot in my opinion, but yeah, they're mainly used for pinning down, your MGs, your AT guns, infantry guns, that sort of thing. They're not terribly effective at dealing with infantry. But we've got a little bit of a push now, or I'm just trying to reinforce this area anyway for a push in the near future. And as we can see, he doesn't really have any armor in this town. So if I can take out this infantry and push the armor through, he's going to find it tough to deal with. He's now got a firm hold on this southern area, both these flags, and it's 12 all. And I've got this mortar just trying to loosen up the heavy cover, preparing for a push because I need to take this flag back really as a matter of priority. How are we doing on the north? So I have managed to push up and secure this flag here. I got my recon in a nice position, and just with the combined firepower of engineers, the Stuart and the M3, gonna annihilate that first unit of Avtomachiki. But I've got to be careful, they're still reloading their HE shell, or HE grenade, and if those Avtos push up, which they are, they're probably going to wipe out this engineer squad pretty fast, those PSHs. Didn't look like that's going to be the case, so those engineers are down, and now my bazooka is a bit vulnerable, which I think I've recognised, so I'm going to try and pull him back to the safety, so it's closer to the M3 half-track and the Stuarts. But they don't want to get too close either, of course, because they do have the anti-tank nades. So it looks like we're starting to put the pressure on in the middle now a little bit. Got my Rangers with the LMGs firing off against these Strelki. I guess they do have twice the men, so they do have a bit higher DPS than Rangers. And these Strelki DPs, whilst they don't have like a HE nade and the PTRDs aren't the best, they do have two DP28s. 9 Mosins, so they're going to suppress units quite well. It's got a nice shot on my tanks coming up this road from this 45mm here, and got to be careful with this Sherman. This Sherman could most definitely go down here. It's pretty close to this 45mm AT gun. The Rangers do indeed go down, so that leaves me a little bit open to an infantry push. I'm going to back off the M401. Just too late there. Maybe my reversing showed some side armor for the 45mm to get the kill. I got 2 mortars firing on the southern area. These 60mm mortars are one of the best parts about the American divisions. They're so strong. They're pretty cheap. So I'm going to be looking to them because there's no leader here. I'm going to be looking for these to suppress and pin down the units that are in this forest. 2 ZIS-2 guns here, which is maybe a little bit overkill. But I can't see them at the moment. I don't really have any recon. I do have a recon, sorry, but it evidently can't spot the ZIS-2. And that's my Stuart going to go down. But if I can push up and secure these trees, 2 ZIS-2 guns, well, ZIS-2 is 50 points, so that'll be 100 points down, and that's certainly up for grabs now. I've got these paths so that they're going to go along the bottom of this ridge and then up, so that they aren't going to be taking any fire if there are any MGs or anything there. Nice bombing run came in there, but that was a 227 kilo bomb, and it didn't do a whole lot of damage, but did pin them down, so it could have been worse. My opponent, after losing some of his infantry here, he has now reinforced with some T-34s. T-34s against Shermans. It's a close match, but my money is on the Shermans. They do fire faster. I think they're a little bit more accurate as well. What's the base accuracy? 45% to 40%, so yeah, a little bit more. Nice kill there from that one, that Sherman. Now we've got 2 Shermans and a Stuart against just the 1 T-34. So I would, yeah, it looks like he's going to back this off and try and play defensively for a moment, which is probably a good move. I do have 2 Bofors here just to help me deal with any planes that he does want to bring in. He did have that fighter flying around earlier, but other than that, it's not been a whole lot. These Avtos getting pinned down from the MGs. I think the mortars have stopped firing now. That one's nearly out of ammo. But with these Avtos going down, there's really not a whole lot to stop this push. With the MGs just pinning them down, letting the flamethrowers get in and get close. The mortars are now firing again. I think that's this one. I brought in a 3rd mortar for this southern area. So that's 1 Avto unit down. These Rangers pushing on. Got to find that AT gun that did the work on my poor Stuart earlier on. Are we going to find it? I mean, they've not really got anywhere safe to go. They can back out into this open ground. But yeah, it looks like the Rangers have spotted them. They do have this Strelki DP though, which are going to be putting some suppressive fire down. But I've got plenty of armour of my own on this south side to help me deal with them. Looks like the 45mm AT gun that was here got taken out. I don't know if that was maybe from the mortars, maybe one of the bombing strikes, but it has gone down now. But he does still have this 45mm here, so I've got to be careful with that. That's one Zis 2 down. And are they? Is this in range? It should be. Yeah, the Stuart. But I need to prioritise both these tanks to fire on the Zis 2 here, really, because as we're about to see, that's going to get taken out. 9 to 15 now. I have managed to push quite far forward on this northern side. He's got two T-34-85s, which are doing a good job at making a nice little flank for him here. I did bring up an M5 gun just to watch down this road, but it arrived like just a little bit too late. And it's let these T-34s get too close. They're going to be able to suppress this M5 gun with the use of their MGs and obviously the cannon, and that's going to go down, I think. Maybe I would have been better off taking the APCR off or disabling that, so they could fire a bit quicker. I do move these Stuarts up to try and get a flanking shot, but this is really frustrating. They just keep on seeming to move forward, aim, and then lose sight, and then rinse and repeat. So, because you know, 70mm pen, they can take out, you know, the back armor of a T-34, or you know, that's more than enough penetration to mess that up. I moved these bazooka over as well to see if they can help, and this one unit of AVTO. It's a 1-for-1 trade, a one-man squad, so interesting stuff there. What are the bazookas out? They're the Thompsons on them as well. Yeah, 2 Thompson guns. The Thompsons are pretty strong, so I guess that is to be expected. I'm now retaking this flag, but I'm losing out on this one, which I really need to get a hold of again quickly. And he has now, was 12 all momentarily there, but it's now back down to 13 to 11. When you're playing unbalanced, as old A up and top is, you've kind of got two choices. You can either set up or invest your points into forming a really strong defensive line across the map, or in as many places as you can, just to soak up the pressure and absorb the push from your opponent. Or alternatively, you can try and be like really aggressive in your own right and put the pressure on. It's really hard to deal with, or it's really annoying to deal with when you're playing Vanguard and your opponent, you know, goes really aggressive right from the off, because obviously you both start with the same number of points, and it can kind of mess up your plans if you have to, you know, reinvest and go elsewhere. But it looks like A and Top is, generally speaking, going for the former approach of just investing heavily in holding units and you know, attacking where he can to hold points and slow the pace of the pushing down. But generally speaking, he's putting his points in a defensive measure. I've got my M4A1 Rhino, which I brought in to deal with these two T-34-85s. But they're pushing a little bit too. They're fast moving, not fast moving, but they're just moving quickly, and they're going to pay the price to the Rhinos there, because they didn't stop to shoot back. I mean, they could definitely have taken out a Rhino from that distance. But I guess that they were a little bit damaged as well from the M5 gun. But lovely stuff there. 2 Rhinos, you know, taking out 2 T-34s and not really taking any shots to deal damage of their own. It's a big loss for my opponent. And this is where I need to be. I just need to be holding at this 9 to 15 as long as I can. If it stays like this for the rest of Phase B, which we are now in, then that should be that. I do have now quite a build-up of units in this middle area, and he's only really got Avtos and Maxims here, so if I were playing a little bit more aggressive, I probably could have pushed forward here. It looks like he is going to invest quite a lot now in this middle area. Got some Tanko Comroti, which do have the sniper and the heat grenade, and 5 PPSHs, so actually a very strong unit. Looks like they're just getting a headshot there on one of my engineers. But these tanks now, if they wanted to push up a little bit aggressively, they could. There's nothing really to stop them. He's got an Su-85 back here in the trees, but doesn't have a great line of sight. What are these mortars firing on? Probably just the units down here. Maybe I didn't spot this tube for some reason. Maybe this M4 just couldn't see it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it could, but yeah, otherwise I would have just pushed up these ranges to clean that up. He has retaken this flag, which I momentarily had a hold of. Now that I've got my two rhinos in position, I mean, they could push forward and exploit some of this open area, but I'm having a lot of luck, or I have had a lot of luck so far in the forest, so I think I'm going to use them just to support the infantry. My rangers are starting to get a little bit surrounded now, just by all these Avtos and Strelkies, because they are so cheap. The Russian infantry, you can just really overwhelm and bring in a flood of units. But I recognise the danger, and I'm bringing in some of my own, more engineers, a few more rangers, and a leader as well to help deal with them. Do a mortar back here as well, which is going to help. The shooting is beginning in the middle now, and there's a lot of shooting going on. Su-85 there firing on my M401, getting a sight line somehow through the town. This M4 is in a really lovely position. It's going to stop any units from flanking up this side. An M401 does go down there, I think, to the Razvedka, which he's got in a nice spot. These engineers out of distance or out of reach to use their HE grenade. But I am now bringing in some mortar fire to help me, and the mortars are doing a really good job there, pinning down, even taking out one of those units there. I pushed this M4 up because I didn't really want to sit there taking that fight against an Su-85. It's not one I'm going to win. And it is a turret stuck, but it is still going to be able to use its turret. So that needs to come up and help out at some point. Mortars again, looks like they're doing a really good job here. I've lost a lot of infantry though, so I can't really push aggressively. Too aggressively. What on earth was that? Something just exploded there. Created this crater here. So the half, I've got literally no idea what just blew up. He's only got 120mm mortars. I don't really have any major artillery back here. Incidentally, this M8, I evidently forgot to move this. This was deployed right at the beginning, and I was so focused on the front line I didn't even look back here. That's 40 points completely wasted so far. That needs to push up at some point and help out. It could be really useful down here in the middle. I'm looking a little bit light on infantry at this point, and now we're into phase B. He's definitely got the infantry advantage in this town, and looks like I'm starting to deal with some of the infantry of his pushing up now. If the Avtos are pushing up, they're going to get in range of the flamethrower rangers, and with the support of these 50 cal half tracks, it's going to be both of those going down, which is a nice kill, a nice couple of kills. Even more 50 cal half tracks pushing up. Strelky do have to get really close to use their anti-tank nades, which I'm looking to exploit with the range of 50 cals. I've got another M1 gun pushing up into the same spot as the M5 gun. Hopefully this one's going to live. And a bazooka back here as well, which does need to come back up to the field, up the front line. I do most definitely now have the advantage with all of these units. He's got two of his, well, he's got Strelky pinned down. I need to begin to push up and take this flag because we're about to go into phase C, and when we do, it's going to be tough to deal with. He's pushing on in the middle, and it looks like he's very close to taking this flag. The Su-85 is pushing to the town. But he's going to be careful. This M401 will be able to get a flanking shot on that if he pushes just a little bit further. Somehow holding this flag now. I'm guessing one of the infantry that was here has now died, and that's given me control of it, and it's making it 14-10. I've got a Hellcat back here, which I think I knew that this T-34 was around in this tree somewhere. I must have spotted it from my dozer back here, my recon even. And Hellcats are a really effective way to deal with medium and heavy armor. Got plenty of pen, and they're so quick that you want to use them by just sort of leaving them behind somewhere, pushing out, taking a couple of shots, and then moving them back because they're so fast they can do that quite effectively. So I think I'm waiting for this T-34 to start shooting on something, and then when it does, I'll try and flank with the Hellcat. Got some off-map coming in now. to help me disperse some of these units in the town. And it is 16 to 8. I managed to recapture the flag back up here on the north. I've got a lot of units built up here now, and he's not got anything really to counter it. He's invested a fair bit on 120mm artillery or mortars, which I don't think are really going to help him out too much at this point. M401 firing on the Su-85. If that gets a shot on target, which it does, it's going to take out the M401, take out the Sherman. So I'm going to respond. I've got 2 more queued up to come on in. I've only got this 1 Sherman left with the stuck turret. But my off map, which is back here, I think it looks like I've dropped this in a really, really effective position. Can't think of any other better spot for this right now. So we'll have to wait and see in the next 20 seconds how much damage that does. He's got a bit of a salient here. The bazookas, of course, don't really hold the front line, so he's holding this flag, but I'm still winning 15 to 9. And I've got a Hellcat pushing up here. That's going to go down, but it's just helping me put the pressure on. I wanted to see if I could take out this mortar. 45mm firing off against the Sherman there, which is not ideal in that sort of range. Off map is now going down. Let's see how much damage it does. Got 2 infantry guns out in the open here, and to a 203mm off map, they're going to be certainly pretty vulnerable right now. That's 1 infantry. Wow, look at that! 2 infantry guns and an Su-85 going down within a second of each other there. The IS-2 is just out of range. Would have been really nice if that had been in this blast zone as well. So that's really, really helped me there. His infantry's looking a lot lighter. Infantry guns are gone. Puts me in a much better position. And now here we go. We've got the M401 firing on the T-34-85. Gets a nice penetrating shot, but the Hellcat playing just as I wanted it to. It pushed up, got the shot off with its APCR rounds onto the T-34-85 and gets the kill. He does have these infantry guns on the flank, which to an open top vehicle like the Hellcat could certainly take it out, so I've got to back that out. And once again, I'm just going to sit that there and hold and wait for another opportunity. That's the Strelky going down as well. Nice bomb coming in here from these Boston. I think that's going to go onto these. Yes, it is indeed. That was a big strike, to be fair. So I got 2 units and pinned down to the rifles squad. And I still somehow haven't spotted this too. Over here back on the north, we've got 2 T-34-85s. I think this Rhino maybe is pushing a little bit too close to the sun. Maybe I want it to be a bit further back here, because you do not want 2 T-34-85s and a 45mm AT gun firing on you from that hill. So I've lost a little bit of armour up here now. I lost the Hellcat and a Rhino, but I do still have another Rhino in reserve. And I've pushed up to this road here. And with these 2 half tracks in position, it's going to be tough for him to get across the road through the light cover. These engineers not really in range again to use their HE grenades, but I would expect the 50 cals to do enough damage to stop my engineers from getting wiped out. Got another off map coming down. This one looks like it's a bit off the mark. IS-2 goes down there to the bazooka. Lovely kill. A 20-point unit onto a 200-point unit like the IS-2 there. Yeah, if this off map had been in this area here, that could have been massive. Do get another infantry gun. Those infantry guns have been apparently the primary target of my off map so far. Because I invested early on in some Bofors, he's not really going to have a whole lot of success in this middle area with his bombers. I've now got the Hellcat pushing up to just help out a little bit. I know there's not a whole lot of armour left here. Of course, the Hellcat does have a 50 cal machine gun, so it's just 1 more 50 cal to help me out in this area. Engineers pinned down. They look like they're going to go down any moment now. But another nice pin onto the Strelky, and again there's no leader in this area, so they're going to get more suppression and they could get surrendered if I push a bit more aggressively. I've got 2 more M4s coming in, but I need some more infantry really in this town if I want to secure it off. I think he must be waiting up here on the north side now for a bit more infantry support. Obviously you don't really want to be pushing into the forest when you know the Indianhead could have bazookas and stuff lurking around corners, which indeed this rifles leader squad does, so if the Sapri are going to spot the rifles leader, and if they get their HE grenade off, they're going to do some damage, but they get it off. I saw something fire towards the rifle leader there. Stuart goes down in the background. Doesn't look like it. So now if these just push a little bit further forward, get a nice bazooka kill onto the T-34-85. Half tracks, 2 nice kills onto some Sapper units there. Again, no leaders to stop them from surrendering. So it's going to be easy enough for me to suppress and surrender. Here we go. Okay, I think the leaders. Oh, the leader's pushing forward towards this T-34-85. So I don't know what that's thinking there. It's so painful when you rewatch these games and you look and think, I could have just got such an easy kill if I'd clicked in one direction. Half tracks just pushing around the back here, trying to just create some problems. That bomber did actually get his payload off there, although I didn't take any units out. Now I'm into phase C. I'm bringing in some of these demolition groups, which do have the flamethrower and the bazooka, so a very, very effective unit. A few rangers coming in as well to help me out in the town. This Rhino can sit here all day trading with this infantry gun. That is not going to win the fight. 4 minutes, 18 seconds left for my opponent to reclaim a good portion of this battlefield. Well, I say a good portion. He only needs to get 1 flag and it will buy him some more time. Looks like one of the T-34s did go down. But my opponent evidently didn't think he would be able to turn that around, because I did have a pretty strong foothold in some pretty key areas. So well played to Epoeoeoeoeneoejtepriet, as you are now known. It's a good game. I really enjoyed it. You don't play too many 1v1s where you go up against someone imbalanced, and for them to play really well, like I thought he did play that quite effectively. Normally when you go up against balance in 1v1, or generally speaking, when I see someone in balance, I think they're maybe not too familiar with the 1v1 formats, and it could just be a bit of a pushover and an easy game. But that one certainly wasn't. There were a few points where it could have gone either way, but stats, probably reflect how I felt the game went. 700 kills more than him. So yeah, really interesting game. Well played to Epoeoeoeoeneoejtepriet. I wonder if I'll probably bump into again on the rank ladder. But until then, until next week, ta-ta and farewell.